This happened to me about 2 years ago in Springfield, Illinois. I still think about it sometimes when I'm trying to fall asleep. Maybe writing it down will help me forget, but honestly, I don't think I ever will. I moved into this small house on Elm Street after my divorce. You know how it is when your life falls apart. You just want somewhere quiet to start over. The neighborhood seemed perfect. Old trees, nice lawns, the kind of place where people still wave at each other. My neighbor Jasper lived in the house right next to mine. Weird name, I know, but he was probably in his 60s and seemed harmless enough. From day one, Jasper was friendly but strange. Every single morning when I left for work, he'd be sitting on his porch with coffee. Rain or shine, hot or cold, didn't matter. He always waved and said, "Morning, neighbor," but never anything else. I'd wave back, and that was it. What struck me as odd was his house. It looked normal from the front, but there was this upstairs window that had been boarded up with plywood. Not just covered, like seriously boarded up with thick wood and nails. I figured maybe there was water damage or something. My sister's house had mold issues once, and she had to seal off a whole room. The first few months were pretty normal. I got used to seeing Jasper every morning. Sometimes I'd see him working in his yard or checking his mailbox. But he never invited me over for a beer or anything. Most neighbors at least offer to help you move furniture or whatever, right? Not Jasper. He kept his distance but was always watching, always waving. One thing I noticed was how quiet his house was at night. My bedroom window faced his place, and I never saw lights on after dark. Ever. Which was weird because I'm a night owl. I stay up until like 2 a.m. watching Netflix most nights. His house was always completely dark. Actually, there was this one time in July when my air conditioning broke. It was so damn hot I had to sleep with my windows open. That's when I first heard something strange. It was probably around midnight when I heard what sounded like someone walking around upstairs in Jasper's house. Slow, deliberate footsteps. But here's the thing. I'd never seen anyone else go into his house. Ever. No visitors, no family, nothing. I figured maybe I was just hearing the house settling or something. Old houses make weird noises, right? My grandmother's place used to creak all night long. But these footsteps had a rhythm to them, like someone pacing back and forth in that room behind the boarded window. The strange stuff started happening around month 4. I'd hear these sounds at night coming from his direction. Not loud, just scratching. Like someone was moving furniture around upstairs. But remember, his upstairs window was boarded up, and during the day when I'd see Jasper, he never mentioned having anyone living with him. No cars in his driveway except his old blue Honda. I started keeping a mental log of when I'd hear the sounds, usually between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. Never during the day when Jasper was outside. It was like whoever was up there only came out at night. My ex-wife used to say I had an overactive imagination, but this felt different. This felt real. There was also this smell that would sometimes drift over from his yard. Hard to describe, kind of musty and sweet at the same time. Like old flowers mixed with something else I couldn't identify. I only noticed it on nights when I heard the sounds upstairs. Then came that storm in October. Man, it was brutal. Wind was howling, rain coming down sideways. I was watching TV when I saw Jasper through my window trying to carry grocery bags from his car. The wind was literally knocking him around. Poor guy looked like he was struggling. I threw on my jacket and ran outside. "Hey Jasper, let me help you with those." He looked up at me and for just a second I swear he looked terrified. Not grateful, scared. But then he smiled that same neighbor smile he always had. "That's very kind of you," he shouted over the wind. I grabbed 3 bags and started walking toward his front door. That's when he stopped me. "Actually," he said, putting his hand on my shoulder, "just leave them on the porch. I'll get them. Come on, man, it's pouring. Let me just help you carry them inside." His face changed completely. The friendly neighbor act just dropped. "Never come into my house," he said. Not mean, but firm as hell. "I appreciate the help, but never come into my house." I stood there holding his groceries in the rain, feeling like an idiot. Okay. Sure thing, Jasper. I put the bags down and went home. Spent the rest of the night wondering what the fuck that was about. Maybe he was just private. Some people are like that, especially older folks. But it bothered me. The way he said it. So serious, like he was warning me about something dangerous. Weeks went by and things went back to normal. Morning waves, quiet nights, boarded up window. I started dating this woman from work, so I was spending less time at home anyway. Almost forgot about the whole grocery incident. Then came that night in early November. I was dead asleep when someone started pounding on my door. Not knocking, pounding. Like they were using both fists. I stumbled to the front door in my boxers, heart beating fast. It was 3:17 a.m. according to my phone. "Who is it?" "It's Jasper. Please open up." I unlocked the door, and there he was. But this wasn't the calm, friendly Jasper from the porch. This guy looked like he'd seen a ghost. His hair was messy, he was wearing pajamas and a robe, and his hands were shaking. "Jasper? What's wrong?" "I need you to do me a favor," he said, looking back at his house. "Can you watch the street for me? Just for a few minutes while I handle something inside." "Watch the street for what?" "Just watch. If you see anyone coming, anyone at all, knock on my door immediately. Can you do that?" I looked past him toward his house. That's when I saw it. Light moving around in that boarded-up upstairs window. Not electric light, more like a flashlight or candle, moving back and forth behind the plywood. "Jasper, there's someone in your house." He turned to look, then back at me. "I know. That's why I need to handle it." "Shouldn't we call the police?" "No police," he said quickly. "Please, just watch the street. 10 minutes, that's all." Something in his voice made me agree. Maybe it was because he looked so desperate, or maybe I was still half asleep and not thinking straight. "Okay, 10 minutes." He ran back to his house and went inside. I stood on my porch in the cold, watching the street like he asked, but I kept looking at that upstairs window. The light was still moving around up there. About 5 minutes later, I heard this loud thump from inside his house. Then nothing. The light in the window went out. Jasper came back outside after maybe 8 minutes total. He looked calmer, but exhausted. "Thank you," he said. "I really appreciate it." "Is everything okay?" "Everything's fine now. Go back to sleep." And that was it. He went inside his house and I went back to bed. But I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about that light behind the boarded window and wondering what the hell just happened. The next morning, I expected to see Jasper on his porch like always, but he wasn't there. His car was gone too. I figured maybe he had errands to run, but he never came back. Around noon, a big moving truck showed up. 3 guys started loading furniture in boxes. I went over to ask what was going on. "Excuse me, where's Jasper?" The moving guy looked confused. "Who's Jasper?" "We're just cleaning out the house for the new owners." "The guy who lived here, older man, always sat on the porch." "Don't know anything about that, buddy. We just move stuff." I watched them load everything into the truck. Personal belongings, furniture, everything. Like someone was erasing all evidence that Jasper ever existed. A week later, new people moved in. Young couple with a baby. Seemed nice enough. I introduced myself and mentioned the previous owner. "Oh, the house was empty when we bought it," the wife said. "Been vacant for months, according to our realtor." That was impossible. I'd been talking to Jasper every single day for months. The strangest part? That upstairs window stayed boarded up. Even after the new family moved in and renovated other parts of the house. When I asked them about it, they said their contractor advised against opening it up. "Something about structural issues," the husband told me. "We'll deal with it eventually." But they never did. 2 years later, it's still boarded up. Sometimes at night, I swear I still hear those scratching sounds coming from next door. The new neighbors say they don't hear anything, but their baby cries a lot more when they put him in the room directly below that boarded window. I've thought about telling them what happened that night, but who would believe it? I'm not even sure I believe it myself sometimes. All I know is Jasper told me never to enter his house, and now I understand why. Whatever was up in that room, whatever he was handling that night, I'm glad I stayed outside. Some doors are meant to stay closed, some windows should stay boarded up, and some neighbors should be left alone.